Alright, good morning everybody. Sorry it's been so long since we made any videos, but work has been kind of rough. We just moved about 3 months ago back to San Jose. I've also had a little bit of personal issues that we're trying to work through, so I mean everything is fine. It's just that I've had a little bit of a heart scare, but everything is good. Anyways, this morning I wanted to make a video showing you guys my new stickers. One says genuine junkyard parts with a hero on the back, and the other one says it's a rock, get over it. So each of those stickers adds about 5 horsepower and about 10 miles per gallon. If you're interested, contact me and I can sell you some for about $75 a piece. If you buy 10 of them, then you get one free. So thank you for watching the video and have a great day. No, I'm just kidding. Today I'm going to be showing you what Ruth and I made. So no, it's not a speaker box. I only have a little AM/FM cassette. This is actually a storage cargo box. So let me pull this up for you. I've been wanting to do one of these for a long time now. You know, I carry a lot of little stuff, and the best thing to do is to contain it all. Now I have a flat surface on top if I wanted to put coolers or bags or whatever on top. It took me a while to kind of measure this out, only because I've got that cargo bar that I got from a Ford Explorer and modified just a couple little things to fit. But I wanted to clear the cargo cover so that I could still hide stuff back there. Let me open this up for you and show you what I've got. So these are what they call sash locks, and they just twist like this, and then this falls down. And I just used hinges. I think they're like 2.5 or 3-inch hinges. And then I attached cable. So this thing is actually pretty strong. I mean, you could put quite a bit of weight on there. I've got cables on both sides. The box is made out of 3/4-inch plywood, but it's not like a pine. It's more of a softer birch plywood. It's 3/4 of an inch, but it's a little bit softer and lighter, and I think it's perfect for this. It's strong without adding a whole heck of a lot of weight. And let me show you how much stuff I can actually pack on this thing, and then we'll go over some of the design details. So I've got my water, and I've got my battery cables. I've got my ammo box with my Viair 88P air pump. Great little air pump. 33-inch tires, no problem. There's a look inside, and that's how I mounted the cables. I had to make the cables, obviously, and just cut them to fit, but I mean, they work really well. My cable is bolted on this side with some Harbor Freight cargo hooks, and then I bought some turnbuckles to mount it to my stock cargo tie downs on the floor, and they work super. I mean, this thing does not budge. And there's also 2 more in the back, and I'll show you that in a minute. Let's see what else we got back here. I've got some fat wood for fires and camping. I've got my straps. This is a nice little strap from Vault Cargo Management off of Amazon. It's actually a sling strap, or a little 6-foot strap, tree strap, whatever you want to call it. I've got my Smitty built I think it's a 2-inch webbing. Yeah, it's about a 2-inch webbing, 30 foot long. Could be 20 feet long. I can't remember. This, I just have miscellaneous fluids. I've got power steering fluid, I've got brake fluid, I've got transmission fluid in there. Some folks don't know, in case you don't know, you can use transmission fluid in your power steering pump. That's not going to hurt it at all. So, and you could also use it in your transmission and in your transfer case. I've got an empty gas can, 2-gallon gas can for emergencies. People are going to laugh at me, but I've got an old school canteen, plastic canteen, for water storage in case I absolutely need it. You just never know. And then in this other ammo can, I have a little extra beanie. I have a bandana. Work gloves. Now here's kind of a little medical kit. It's not a full comprehensive, it's just something I threw together. This has medical shears and gloves. This has a bunch of gauze. This has more sponge gauzes. Then I've got rolls of gauze. And the reason why I've got all kinds of gauze is if you have any heavy bleeding, you know, what you want, Band-Aids aren't going to help you. You know, duct tape will help you. Super glue will help you. But you want to stop the bleeding and cover up the wound. I don't have any medical training, but I mean, it's just common sense. I've got my little Corona saw. This thing bites through wood like nobody's freaking business. I've got some paracord in here. I've got my my 5-inch Schrade knife, SCHF 51. I've got some backup folding blades. I've got some matches in there, stormproof matches, emergency matches. I've got a sharpener, a Smith's sharpener in there. And then I also have some tinder for starting a fire, which is basically I have some wet fire tinder in here. You open it up and it burns for quite a few minutes. And then I have some shaved down fat wood and cotton balls and petroleum jelly. And then down there in my little pack I've got more emergency fire starter, and I've got a sharpening puck for like an axe or a knife or what have you. So I'm just going to put all these in here just for now. Throw all this back really quick. And bear with me just for a second. Okay, so excuse me, on the other side I've got these two little door stops, which I'm going to show you what those are for in a minute. And then this, I really hate to admit this on camera, but I kind of screwed up and I didn't measure out properly this right side. So my little storage box here, my drawer is not on rollers. I couldn't get the drawer slides to fit. So, but because it's carpeted and because the bottom of the drawer is smooth, it still slides out no problem. So let me show you. So right now that drawer is resting on the front panel, the lid, or not the lid, but you know, the front. Guys, help me out with this. So in here I've got camping stuff. This has a big tarp, a big green tarp, nylon tarp. It's got a bunch of other stuff in it. This is my dry bag, and my dry bag has like a little emergency cook stove. It has dehydrated foods. It's got some power bars, stuff like that, granola bar type stuff, and in case of an emergency. And you know, I'm not really a prepper. I wouldn't say I've ever been a prepper, but after seeing all the stuff that's going on in the world, it doesn't have to be wars, and obviously there's no zombie apocalypse. Sorry, there's also no Santa Claus. Sorry about that. But just in case, like, you're stranded, there might be an earthquake, there might be a hurricane, maybe not over here on the West Coast, but there might be a natural disaster, and if you're stuck on the road for any time, you really need to think, do I have heat? Do I have a way to, do I have snacks? Do I have food? Do I have water? Do I have extra gasoline? Do I have blankets? Do I have flashlights? Do I have extra batteries? You know, you really got to be prepared. If you have a family or a loved one, just take care of yourself and take care of them. I got some more gloves here. I have my Fiskars X7x. Great little axe. Great little hatchet. Excuse me, it's a hatchet. I couldn't resist $5.99, and I got a small little Esbit pocket stove. I used it once already, and I'm pretty impressed with it. Are there better options out there? Oh yeah, depending on what you want to use it for. But I mean, in a pinch, in an emergency, if you just want to boil water, throw some top ramen noodles in there, that works great. I've got my Innova Sts Headlamp. It's a nice little headlamp. It's light, it's bright for what I want to use it for. It's not too bright, but it's great for close-up work. And you've got a red LED, and you've got a regular white light as well. Like I said, here's my dry bag. So far I have all this stuff in there. I've got a small little hammer, I've got a spoon, I've got an emergency poncho, tent stakes, more fireproof matches, a can opener. And do you guys know what that is? That is what they call a silcock key. In an emergency, if you're near an urban area or commercial building or any place that might have those water spigots on the outside of the building, this will basically give you access to that water, because they're different sizes. And I'm not saying go and steal somebody's water, but hey, you know what? Like I said, if it's a true emergency and maybe the water has been contaminated, or you just have no water, you know, I'm sorry, but I'm gonna think of myself and my family and loved ones first, and I'm gonna get the water they need. So, and don't forget to have water purification tablets with you, because you just don't know what kind of water is coming out of there, you know. And of course, the water will only work if the water is on in that building. So you might luck out, you might not. Here's my little utility cases. I've got some tools in there, and then I've got bigger tools in this box here. So anyways, I fit all this stuff in my cargo case, cargo storage box, whatever you want to call it. And if you're from Europe and you're into fashion, it's called the European Man Cargo Box for the active lifestyle. Kind of a joke between me and Ruth. And then this just pulls out. Let's see if I can do this with, sorry about that, if I can do it with one hand without dropping it. And that's the inside of the box. It's fully carpeted, and the reason why I did that, if we're just running around town and there's no need to pack up, gear up, if you're out shopping or running around, doing whatever you want to do, you can throw stuff in the back there. Plenty of room. So there's another feature that I like about this. I kind of designed it like this. I've seen it. I had an idea from all those other cargo boxes that cost $600, $700, $800, $1,000, $1,200. But on the bottom there's a little table, and I'll show you. I'll just pull these little clevis pins. And this pulls out. And there's a 20, I think it's a 24 4-inch table. So I mean, it's pretty heavy. These are these drawer slides are rated at, I think, like 100 pounds, I think it is. We put some polyurethane paint on it. We sanded it down, primed it, put some polyurethane paint on there, and then I tried to find some matching hardware to go with the sash locks and my little door pull. So, and I was going to tell you, this is what I use. I haven't figured out a way to hold this drawer open, this table open, if it's on an incline or a decline. So I just use these and I just wedge them in there. And it might look kind of ghetto, but you know what? It works. That thing's not going anywhere. So why do I do that? Well, if you're on an incline or a decline, or if you happen to bump it with your body or something, and you've got your food on there, maybe you've got a little stove on there, you don't want all that stuff falling over and really ruining your day. So you're talking, what, maybe a $1 insurance just to keep that door open. So so I think the dimensions of my box, it was 40, I want to say it was 42 inches wide from this point to that point, and I measured it so that they would be right in between the cargo hooks. They actually sit right on the cargo hooks, my original cargo hooks, cargo tie downs, and the turnbuckle has enough room to mount to the side of the cargo box. And like I said, there's also 2 more turnbuckles on the back side. I'm going to show you this in a minute. The depth, I believe, is 24 inches deep, and the height turned out to be, let me see, let me grab a tape measure really quick. Hold on. Okay, I just measured it. The height turned out to be 14.5 inches tall. So like I said, this lid here is 3/4 inch plywood, but it's been notched. So everything's 3/4 inch plywood. It's kind of hard to tell, but it's actually notched for the door. The only thing that's 1/2 inch plywood is the door itself. This is 1/2 inch. The door is 1/2 inch. The turnbuckles, I think, are 7.5 inch turnbuckles from like Lowe's or Home Depot. You can get them anywhere, really. I've got, excuse me, I have a little fire extinguisher mounted to the back here. On this side, I've got my first aid kit in red, and then I've got like a bleed kit in my little cheapy Walmart plastic waterproof case here. And then I've got a Maglite Mini Pro LED AA. It's a decent little flashlight. It puts out like 272 lumens or something like that. And I've got it mounted on the side of the Jeep here. Let me show you the back really quick here. Now, what's nice about this, I've got the back seat folded up, and you've got, you know, all my tools in the bottom here. Let me pull this forward. I have a green duffel bag here, and as much as I would love to have an AR-15 back there, or an M4 or something, I just have extra. I have like tent poles back there. There's a big blue tarp in there. There's also some extra like clothing to keep you warm, because when it's seasonal, I like to swap out what we use. So there's gloves, there's a couple scarves, there's heavier jackets, there's some beanies back there. I think extra pair of socks, warm socks, stuff like that. There's also, I think, 1 or 2 blankets in there. So I actually got lucky and found this long, thin, lightweight duffel bag, stuffed it full of stuff, and it fits absolutely perfect back here, because you know, you guys with Cherokees, you know that the rear seat slants forward or slants backward just a little bit. It doesn't sit vertical straight up and down. So there's actually a maybe like a 7-inch gap, and then it tapers up to about, I don't know, maybe 3 inches or so, like a triangular gap that runs all the way across behind my cargo box. So this thing fits out perfect. You don't even know this thing is back there with the seat up. Here's my tie downs in the back. Again, these are Harbor Freight cargo tie downs, and they're 7-inch turnbuckles, and that's how it's mounted to the floor, to the stock cargo tie downs in the back of the Cherokee. Underneath, you can see the gap that was needed for my shelf, so I can pull the table out. And the carpet that I used was from Amazon. It was called Polymat, and it's like a thin speaker carpet. It's not so thick that it's difficult to work with, but it's not so thin that it's just a cheap piece of garbage that won't stand up to everyday use. If you're going to be loading your stuff up quite a bit, I mean, if you're one of those guys that, you know, you're a weekend warrior, or you're just constantly putting stuff on, pulling stuff off, there might be thicker and better options for you. But for me right now, with occasional use, this thing is been working really, really well. So I'm gonna button this back up and pull these out, slide this back in just like that, get my pins, and I just screwed in. You can see that there. I'm gonna have to think of a better way, maybe a stronger way to hold this closed, because it kept rattling at first, but then I kind of figured this out. This is basically sitting higher than this, so I'm sorry, lower, however you want to make it. That's how I made mine. And then they line up when they're closed, and just put your pin in, snap your pin shut. Yeah, I know, one side is brass, one side is silver. Don't hate me for that. And that sucker is not going anywhere. So I got all this stuff in my cargo box. I'm gonna have to put it all away now. But I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, please comment. Give me a thumbs up. I hope you guys like this little box. And thanks again for subscribing to the channel. All right, hopefully we'll have more content in a little bit. Like I said, things have been kind of up in the air lately. We haven't had a chance to take Zoe out and do a little bit of four-wheeling and stuff. But what I do have that we're gonna put on in a little bit is I've got some differential covers for the back of the Chrysler 8¼ so they're from Solid, and I've got some lube locker gaskets we're going to put on, and we might even pull the axles and see what kind of splines I have on here. It's a 96 Cherokee, and people say, oh, you have the 27 spline Chrysler 8¼ but this Jeep was actually manufactured late in 96. It was manufactured in October. And I've noticed that some stuff like the TPS sensors and other things are actually for 97 model years. So I'm hoping I got lucky and got a early production 97 Chrysler 8¼ with 29 spline rear end in this sucker. Only one way to find out. So again, thanks for watching. And don't forget to get some of those stickers off Amazon. It helps with the gas mileage and the horsepower. All right. Thanks, man. Take care.